RQT's been quite outspoken about that on Twitter as well, so really should be no surprises as to what Blank is going to be going up against today.
As we get into the game, this is going to be an absolute ripper. It's Order up against Blank Esports, C2 and C3 here on Nepal as the match gets underway.
Yeah, Damon starting off here on Zaya, as you expect out from him. Blank going to be running the GOATS composition. It hasn't started off nicely for them. Order really flexing their muscles here with Adam and Quats finding the opening picks of the round. And of course, that is going to be enough to give them the initial point capture.
What an absolute great start here for Order coming through. That's precisely what we wanted to see from them. Going to kick this one off. No one going down from their side of things. A ton of ultimates getting stacked up right now.
Yeah, Quats in particular, one of the ultimates that you do want to talk about is the Earthshatter, 90%. So he's really been putting in the work early on in the piece here for Order, and it's going to be an early Earthshatter out for him. That's something that Blank will have to deal with in this particular fight. There's not much that they have to play around with it either.
Yeah, Earthshatter available here, just waiting for this play to come out, throws it through. Only Roro going to get stunned up. Mod and Roro both go down. Yuki going to sit here on the rally also. Order now up to 30%. Not much wasted here at all.
Yeah, well, that was always going to be the case. Even if you only do hit the one player with the Earthshatter, as long as that particular player does drop, it's the player advantage that you need. And not to mention the fact that Order were able to get another pick on the outside of the Earthshatter as well. And we're going to start to see that kind of snowball come into effect now for Order here. When you get on the control point maps, you do get that first map, or that first fight win, I should say. It's so easy to get that economic advantage in terms of the ultimates. And that's exactly what we're looking at right now for Order. Sign, Jordation, Yuki, Adam, it's all there for Order at this point. And Blank don't really have much coming into this next fight, so we may still have to wait for one more before Blank can really turn this around.
The longer that Blank wait, the better this might be for them, as Roro will pop the rally. Tongue now has his ultimate ready as well. 2 support ultimates available as the grab comes through. Transcendence popped by Tongue. Kura almost immediately also deploys the sound barrier here. So both ultimates used as Modern throws out the grab. Still 6 alive from Order. Jordation keeping them up with his Transcendence as well. Very, very close. Modern low. Modern the first one to go down. No, it's Yuki down first. Quats followed up also. That's now 2 down for Order. The beat's been dropped by Anta, but I'm unsure if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, you're just not seeing enough value coming out here from the ultimates of Order. They did start off well, but they're starting to get a hold of this fight once again. Anta finishing off Damon, trying to heal his players up desperately, but there's just too much damage coming out of Blank. We're at 99%, so for Order, there's no real point to stand on this point, try and stagger it out. They're going to give it up. Fair enough. They've kind of achieved mission successful in getting to 99%, and now they have all the time in the world to build a bank of ultimates, come back in with a vengeance and recapture, and then in that turn also pick up round 1 here on Nepal.
Yeah, serious potential for Order to wait for a 6-stack or something along those lines of ultimate charge. Also potential for Quats to come in with another epic Earthshatter. We'll see how this one plays out. For Blank, however, they're waiting once again. Those support ultimates used very early last time around means they're going to come up shortly. But with both Damon and Noz getting caught out there by that shadow, can they counter? No. You see the Transcendence come through. The grab is used along with the self-destruct. Damon down, Modern down. Order coming through with a vengeance here. Blank only up to 37%. They've now lost 3 players. Unlikely to be able to stem the tide.
Yeah, well, you look at that Earthshatter and you think, oh, well, that wasn't that great. Only got the 1 player, but what it really did was force the Transcendence out from Tongue, which in turn means that Signed is so much freer with his Graviton Surge. He can throw it out there anytime that he wants. He knows there's nothing there that Blank can use to counter it, and quite easily Order's able to pick up the first round here on Nepal. Okay, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, though. That looked fairly one-sided for Order, but it was a Goats v Goats matchup. That particular point of Nepal is not going to be one that you're going to be liable to see the DPS compositions out of Blank, which is what we know they like to play.
Yeah, of all of the potential rounds you could start off with, that was probably the worst one for Blank Esports. But now they're only 1 away from being 1 map down in this series. And being 1 map down so very quickly as well, John. We barely started.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how you'd be feeling right now in the Blank camp, but you still got to realize, like, this is early days. It can be a long series, so don't get too far ahead of yourselves. Potential to see the bunker comp come out on this particular point of Nepal, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the go-to. Blank going to try and do it with the Goats comp once again. It's Winston Goats out on both sides.
Yeah, like to see that one. We move now across to Sanctum, and Damon going to get picked up there by Anta. We heard Anta was to be fair, feeling quite good before, and that's
Oh!
not bad. Bakura coming through, picks up Yuki and Jordation. Great play coming out from the support so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's going to be enough to salvage it here for Blank, though, because they did have that momentum in the fight, even with the 2 kills out from Kura. They're not going to be able to turn it around. He's going to reset. And Order do once again start off with the initial cap, and we know how big of an advantage that is. Obviously, not only does it start building your time up earlier, and you get that bit of extra time to play with, even if it does get capped back by Blank, but more so speaking toward the economy, the ults out for Order will be earlier than Blank's. In particular, keep an eye on Quats, who's just about to get the Primal Rage.
Tongue almost goes down, does go down there to Adam. Modern's about to follow up at least. Quats is picked up there by Kura, but I'm unsure if it's going to be enough. Jordation off the edge. Kura coming through again with another boop. Yuki onto Roro. Still a number of players alive here for Order. Kura, Roro both go down. The point remains Order's side.
Man, Kura's got to be thinking, like, what on earth do I have to do to find a fight win here? 2 fights in a row, he's got 2 boops. That should, as any Lucio player ever, should be enough to actually win you the fight, but it just hasn't been the case. Order, their fundamentals have been so strong. Even though Quats gets taken down before the Primal Rage, they still find a way to salvage that fight, and it puts them in a great spot now to finish this one off in their favor as well.
Order very aggressive. Quats with the Primal Rage. They're going to try and take Blank down before they even get near the point. Modern, the first one, found out there, just 2% short of the Primal Rage. The rest of Blank will retreat back into their spawn point, now up to 65%, Jordan. They are at least stacking that ultimate charge.
Yeah, it certainly has been a dominant performance from Order so far on Nepal. Straight out the gates, they show that they're not messing around and they want to make a repeat of what we saw in the regular season, which was a 4-0 to Order. And Blank have been left reeling a little bit, but look at this. They've got the 5 ultimates available to push on in now.
Oh, waiting for potentially Damon with the sneaky ulti. They walk onto the point. Order being very careful right now. The sound barrier, the first ultimate to be used here by Blank, along with that Primal Rage. Adam caught out, uses the self-destruct, wants to jump back in the mech, nods down, Damon down. Modern picks up one, the Transcendence from Tongue and Jordation at the same time. Blank, of course, had to make their way onto the point. Order already now at 99%. Kura with another boop. Tongue goes down to Quats, however, making the most of that Primal Rage. Still on the point, doing what he can, trying to keep this on Order's side. Can Blank switch it back across? Damon going to pick up the mech. This overtime going forever.
It's still possible right now for Blank. You can see that they're the team that's getting the picks. Signed has got the Graviton Surge. Will he be able to use it to turn things around? Looks like he's just going to save it for the next fight. We'll see a reset out from Order here, which at the end of the day is the smart and correct decision. Had Sign thrown it in there, well, could have potentially been an eat from the Diva. Probably wouldn't have won the fight regardless. But this still leaves Order in a very commanding position.
Yeah.
99%. Lots of time for them to work around, getting ultimates up.
Once again, this Blank Esports lineup requiring a ton of ultimates to try and get the point back just in the nick of time. But you cannot rely on that forever. Modern going to use the Primal Rage. Every ultimate counts here for Blank. They need to hold out for another 99%. It is a long way to go. Signed with the grab. Roro goes down to Adam as well. Modern, he's got a long way till he gets back to his ultimate. Doesn't matter. Sign goes off. Kura, he's playing some incredible Overwatch today. Hunter comes back, takes out Damon. It's a 1-for-1. These Lucios are dropping some sick beats. Modern comes through, picks up both. Nicely played from him. Blank holding on for now.
Yeah, starting to look a lot better right now for Blank. They're really starting to get a stronghold actually set up on this point. Order did invest a little bit in there, just the Graviton Surge. I don't know if it's enough to make Blank feel too comfortable about this next coming fight. There's still a lot left in the tank for Order, still quite a bit of time, so they're going to be able to use all of that positioning that they would otherwise not had they been under tight pressure.
Jordation coming through with a pick onto Tongue. That's going to make life very tough. Kura forced to drop the beat, but Modern's already gone down. Order's going to use their beat as well. Everyone with shields right now still sitting on Jordation's ulti. They're going to try and recapture the point.
How does he do it?
I don't even know. Kura with the double boop once again. Is it going to be enough?
I mean, the best thing about that is they all knew that he was coming, but he still gets it done. Roro's off the edge now. You better be staying away from the ledge. Anyone that goes nearby, either on either side, is getting knocked off. I don't know about this, though, for Blank. I think there's just left a little bit too much slipping over onto Order, but Morton has other ideas, trying to knock them off, and he will get quads, but he himself is very low and won't last much longer. It looks like Order will finish it off. Map 1 going their way.
Wow, wow, wow. I cannot believe the Lucio play we saw there on Nepal. Not just one Lucio, but both. Changing the time to the battle time and time and time again. But nevertheless, Order come out with victory, 2-0 there on Control. And to be fair, I feel it was quite a convincing victory.
I do agree with that, and I think going into this initial map, you look at the first map pick, I think both teams know it's probably going to be Nepal. What I am somewhat surprised by is Blank opting into the 3-3 Goats mirror here. We know this is Order's comfort zone. We know this is what they're strong in, and Blank are playing directly into their hands. Maybe I have a theory here that Blank is kind of testing the waters, but they're testing the waters and finding out it's actually very hot.
It is very hot and it's very costly, Pixie.
Yeah, to say the least. Like, you definitely don't want to be dropping it. And I mean, if it weren't for the fact that they actually did get that very precipitous fight right at that 99% on Sanctum, would have been even worse. There would have been a shutout. Also, I was keeping track. If it had been a shutout, if I'm not mistaken, Kura would have been 1 kill away from being accredited for all of the kills Blank would have got. Didn't end up falling that way, but that is how many kills that guy got.
That's actually incredible.
That's nuts.
Jordan, what are your takeaways from this first map?
Well, I mean, look, I don't think it tells us too much. Obviously, Order's good at Goats. We knew that throughout the season. But I think we're going to have to look towards the next few maps in the pool here to get to see what the philosophy is going to be behind Blank, what they want to be doing. Do they want to be trying to force us onto maps that's going to enable that triple DPS composition, the bunker compositions, all that kind of stuff is what's still in the wheelhouse for Blank, and they definitely have a lot in their back pocket.
They certainly do, and it's going to be interesting for me to see how they changed since their quarterfinal, as well as we said before. Order got to skip all the way through to today's semi-final. Seems to be they're certainly making the most of it. They certainly seem prepared.
And that's the thing, because you have a team that is very much preparing just for the semi-final. I think both teams are in a case where they feel like this is the tougher match of the two. Going to grand finals, especially after seeing how that just fell with Sydney Drop Bears kind of barely making it through, they'd be very happy to face the Sydney Drop Bears, but they got to get past each other first. I want to see now if Blank are going to go into the DPSs, what they've been preparing for, how they prepared against Order, because what we saw in Nepal, that's not the Blank we know throughout the season.
That's not how we would expect them to play, of course, as you said, Jordan. It's a little bit tough for them when you come to Nepal. Not all of the rounds are going to suit you. So what are we expecting to see here, Pixie, as we swap across, of course, to the map pick now for Blank? What do we think is going to get thrown out? Any suggestions?
Map-wise, it's a little bit tough to call because it's ultimately going to come down to what specific compositions they want to play. But, I mean, we see what the potential options are, like you sort of mentioned. Maybe they want to run bunker compositions. Pretty much any map can be suitable for that. We saw it earlier today, specifically on Blizzworld. Maybe that's the way they want to go. Also can be decent for some DPS compositions.
Yeah.
I think on the whole, this is kind of one of those, the world is your oyster, right? And best part is, whatever they pick isn't going to telegraph a whole lot. It's like, well, you could be running bunker here, you could be running lots of DPSs, I don't know which, and there's no real way to prepare for that.
Yeah, Jordan, when we saw Blizzard World before, that was, of course, the only map that the Melbourne Mavericks won, and they did so by holding point A with a bunker strat. Things have really changed now, particularly with Batisia.
Yeah, if I have to take a guess, I think Kings Road's probably off the cards here for Blank. I'm not looking at any like statistics from the season or anything like that. This is just my gut feeling. We've got Eichenwald and Blizzard World still in the pool there, obviously, as well. And I do think that we're probably going to lean towards one of those two, as they do allow a little bit more variety in the composition. Kings Road traditionally has been more of a Goatsy-esque kind of a map. But until we get into like the third phase of both Eichenwald and Blizzard World, you don't tend to see too much Goats. So it'd be interesting to see what they do end up going for. I think it is going to actually tell us a lot what map the choice is as to how Blank wants to play out this series.
Well, our map graphic is ready. The selection has been made. Let's go and take a look at what map number 2 will be. Kings Row.
Damn!
Ouch.
I have a theory about this, and
All right, let's go.
What I want to say about this is I think Blank may be looking to roll into a bit more bunker, and Kings Row A in particular is going to offer that. Kings Row A is also going to offer a lot of DPS variety, so I think Blank, looking at all three of these maps, and I would in some way say that all three are kind of decent for Blank. There's no like one bad map of the three like Nepal is for the control game mode. All three could be good, and Kings Row will be the best one.
So I didn't get an opportunity a little bit early before we started to ask you who you think was coming out on top. We're now one map in, so that makes life a little bit easy. We now know that Kings Row is going to be our second map, the hybrid map type. I'm going to start with you, Pixie. I want to know who you think is going to win today.
For sake of fairness, I won't change my answer based on the previous result. It is blank. I mean, I find it really hard not to, like, put my lot behind them just for how much of an institution they've kind of been. Like, long before there was even a Contenders, there was a blank.
It's true. It's a very good point. But it wasn't this blank.
That's true, and what you do also see is, funny enough, RQT, the coach of Order, was in that blank, so a lot of the old remnants of blank still spreading their wings across all of Overwatch, Overwatch League included. What I do think is, like Pixie said, I mean, previous to knowing this, we mentioned this kind of perfect storm of things going right for blank. Team house, new members, really good members, really reinvigorated, looking great this season. I would say blank have what it takes to win this season right now, not just this match, but maybe the grand final as well. If they don't, there's no more excuses, because what else can you do to this team to get a victory?
Jordan?
Well, everyone knows me. I like to favor the old guard, and I think in this case that is going to be Order. So I'm going to stick with them. I know blank is looking good at the moment, but hey, map 1 went the way of Order. I've always said Order throughout this entire season have looked strong. So I'm not going to change my prediction based on a few international imports.
A few international imports. And I want to actually touch on that as well, because we saw very little from Damon in that game.
Yeah, and I don't think Zarya is going to be the pick that we'll see the most out of him. If you remember what he played last year, he's been a very particularly good hint scan DPS player on Widowmaker, Tracer, all those sorts of picks in Ashe this season as well. So I think Soldier, he brought it out towards the end, instantly had impact. I think that's where he's going to shine, and that's what they need to put Damon on to unlock him.
Well, we're about to get into map number 2. It's going to be Kings Row. Order up against blank Esports. Nepal went in Order's favor, and it did so quite convincingly. Jordan, what are we seeing here from our teams?
Well, I've always felt as though this has been a pretty solid map for Order if they can get past point A, which was a great point that AVRL made. Blank, though, not going to be going for that bunker comp on the defense here. It's Sombra Goats. So, Order will be used to playing against this. They've been able to beat compositions like this before, and I think if they get past point A, they're going to do well.
Well, Morton's already taken a ton of damage, and he's the first one down. Jordation finding that pick. It's going to be very tough for now for blank to turn this around. They needed almost an immediate counter pick here, already up to 85%, almost up to 100. There we go, 5:40 on the clock as they jump onto the payload.
Yeah, and I think that's really bad news for blank. Again, I sort of thought that Eichenwald or Blizzard World may be a better option for them. The one saving grace for me on Kings Row was going to be point A. If they could hold Order there, then I thought that there was a good chance for blank to actually win the map. But at this point, seeing Order be able to knock point A over so easily as we start to get into the streets phase, into phase B, and in particularly into phase C of the map, that I think is where Order is really going to start to become unlocked with this GOATS composition, as they obviously will get favored by the way that the map layout does find itself.
Because that was such a very clean first fight win, Order is going to get this payload almost half the way down the streets phase, but Quat's going to be the first one down, getting caught out there by Damon. Nice little binade coming through from Tung as well. Will seal the deal. This is I suppose, the counter fight that we needed from blank straight away. Yeah,
that was a pretty soft fight, all things considered, from Order. The hat comes out, and then Order just capitulates off the bottom of it. Like, literally not even a single ultimate comes out from blank there to hold. So I think Order needs to be doing better than that. Obviously, they're going to go ahead and have another crack here, but that's allowed time for the EMP to build up for Damon, and that means for Order, well, the going gets certainly a lot tougher.
All of a sudden, the team that got destroyed in the first fight has the ultimate advantage heading into the second phase of the map. Damon lurking, waiting for an epic EMP. Will it be needed? That's the question. The grabs come through. It's hit 5 out of 6, and Jordation, of course, was free to roam there with his Transcendence. Adam going to get D-Max Quats very low. The heals come through. I'm unsure if it's going to be enough. Morton going to seal the deal there. Hunter about to go down as well. Obviously deciding to hold onto the beat for now. 2 very good fight wins in the row here from blank. Yeah, pretty impressive stuff that Order's actually able to survive for that long against the EMP like that. But obviously, when push comes to shove, blank have got that extra ability to survive in the fight because they can use their abilities. For Order now, we're still relying on the Graviton Surge to come out from Sign to have a big impact. This is their best chance, but the trouble is, blank is forward holding, and so if you win here for Order, you still need to win another fight before you really get to push through into Phase C. The longer that it takes for Order to get here to the payload, the worse it's going to get. They go around the side, blank falls back, grab comes through, beat is dropped by blank as well. But Adam, with a huge self-destruct there on the Diva, will turn things around and do so very, very quickly. the payload continues once more.
Yeah, absolutely. But Order's kind of back to square one. This is even behind where they lost that first fight in Phase B. So Blank haven't really lost too much by losing that fight in particular. They're still going to have one good solid fight before the cap does get taken by Order. And in that fight, they're going to have Grab, they're going to have EMP. Obviously, you can see the Shadow's already there. The only thing that's really lacking is the support ultimate. That's where Order can find their advantage, particularly if Jordation can build a quick Transcendence here.
Both tanks now going to be sitting on Earth Shatters as well. One comes through, and it's
Oh,
going to be
that's a
Blank
big
knocked
shatter.
down. Yeah, the shield falls apart. The beat is dropped by Order as well. EMP will get rid of it as Adam gets D-Mech down. All Yuki and Jordation already picked up, and Blank turned it around on the back of a huge play from their import.
That's about as good as it's going to get for an EMP. The fight looked lost, but straight away, as soon as you see that EMP comes out, it absolutely turns around. And Order are really struggling at the moment.
They are indeed. And the thing is, Jordan, think about if that first fight hadn't gone the way of Order, if they were struggling on A, their only saving grace right now is how well they went on the first fight of this map. They'd be running out of time very quickly, to be fair.
Yep.
They've already got under 2 minutes remaining. Noz going to lurk into the corner and throw this one out. Right into the middle of things, Jordation with the Transcendence. Noz going to get knocked back as well. The Shadow comes through. It hits 1, 2, 3. Is that going to be enough?
No, it certainly is not. The Transcendence from Jordation was phenomenal. Order, they're reaping the rewards from it. Damon's desperately trying to charge the EMP up, but even if he gets it, it's not going to make a difference in this fight. And, oh, God, what a Transcendence that was. Keeps everyone alive through the Graviton Surge. Then you see the charge come across from Morton, which was fantastic, by the way. Catches Sign, takes him out of the Transcendence, but then Sign still survives and gets back inside the warm embrace of that Transcendence, and he gets pulled back all the way up to full HP, and then all of a sudden Order, well, they've used up all of the cooldowns of Blank, and they win the fight off the back of it.
Next fight will go out. Blank going to lose 2-3 immediately there. Huge plays coming out from Order. It did, of course, require the self-destruct coming out from Adam, but they'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, there's still one big roadblock here, though, for Order, and that is the EMP of Damon. Every single time we've seen that thrown out from Blank, they have won the fight.
Oh, the grab comes through. The EMP's out as well, but everyone's caught in the corner. The payload continues. No one's there to contest. Still no one there. Finally, they get onto the point. Jordation will use the Transcendence. Quats with the Shatter will pick up Noz, at least knock him down. Kura's going to swap across to the Bastion as well. This is dire straits right now for Blank.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way they're going to hang on here. Order, what a fast cap time. It was always scary when that point A went away so easily. Once you give the momentum back over to Order, sure, it was in Blank's favor for a little bit on Phase B, but as soon as Order got that fight win on Phase C, once they capped it up, they steamrolled through the third part of the map, and obviously they've set themselves at a very, very solid time here. 2 minutes and 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we did see that cap come on up. And for Blank, you know, again, AVRL mentioned on the analyst desk that you are going to be able to see the DPS compositions out from them here, probably on point A, if that's what they choose. Even in towards Phase B of the map, you can, to an extent, run that. But the way that Order have been playing around them so far, and the fact that Blank have actually not really been too keen to go on to the DPS composition so far, really does raise some questions in my mind.
I am personally quite surprised at what we're seeing in terms of team compositions. Very surprised at what we saw on point A. I think AVRL would be as well. We'll chat to him when we get back to the desk. But look, for me, that is not a time that I think the Blank particularly wanted to see. Yes, they did a reasonable job of clawing their way back into this match, and they definitely still have a chance to come back with potentially an even better time here.
Yep.
But it's going to be tough, and it's just a shame that they couldn't hold a little bit longer on the first objective.
Yeah, once again, we're going to be seeing Sombra Goats coming out here for Blank Esports, and the interesting change-up for Order is that they do have Ana here, perhaps anticipating the fact that that is what Blank is going to be going for. Typically, you really only want to be playing the Ana when there's no Diva, because she really does shut down a lot of the utility that Ana is able to deploy. Not only that, but actually the Ana does have a fair, decent amount of survivability. Obviously, half your HP or 3/4 of your HP doesn't get knocked off as soon as an EMP gets thrown out, like what you would see from a Zenyatta. So it's a bit of a safer pick from Order, and they've done it under the assumption that there is going to be a Sombra here, which is correct.
Yeah, well, great pick coming out from Order there. That's the decision they needed to make. Quats takes a bit of damage, but it won't matter. He'll back up as Blank drops back. Damon going to be slipped for now. Just have to wait this one out. Tung holding back, trying to do what he can. Morton charging through as well. Huge nade coming through. We'll see all of Order to get taken out here by Blank. Prime work coming through there by Tongue.
Well, I thought it was going to take up until we saw an EMP out for Blank before they capped point A, but that looked too easy for them, didn't it? They just completely steamrolled through Order. So at the moment, when we look at the two teams in comparison, they're about as quick as one another.
Yeah.
Order has some work to do here in Phase B of the map to keep it within their grasp, right? Because if Blank goes very quickly here into Phase C, that's where they actually come out with a time bank advantage, and then, well, it's anyone's game from there.
Yeah, Blank did a very good job at the start of the Streets phase here on Kings Row. They dropped the ball eventually, but they bought themselves quite a lot of time. Now, they are in the driver's seat. The payload pushes forward. Morton and Tongue both sitting on ultimates as well. Order holding back for now. They're not going to have support ultimate for just a while. Blank will engage, but it's Roro who goes down first. Adam picking up another Jordation taken out by Morton. There's the EMP. Quad's down. Yuki down. Sign down. Just Adam and Unter remain. Blank continue to push on forward.
That fight was definitely within the realms of possibility for Order to win, but straight away you see such a good combo out from Damon and Morton. You think about the comms going on between them, and they've managed to make it work this time. Still, it is only the first fight won here on Phase B, so Order are going to be able to set themselves up on that point C, or into Phase C, I should say. Got a lot of ultimates here for Order, everything actually across the board that they would really need, and no EMP to shut it down this time, so this should be Order's fight. This should be where they stall Blank.
This is when they need to stall Blank. There's Adam, throws out the self-destruct. It lands high. Gonna miss the mark. The grab comes out now, but no self-destruct to rally with. There goes the sound barrier. Order still up. Adam Slep gets back up, but Morton and Tongue both low. Hunter's going to get picked up by Damon there, but it won't really matter, Jordan. Order come through with the goods. Another good nade from Tongue.
That's a nice bio nade.
Yeah.
Too bad it's a little bit too late.
A little bit too little too late.
I was a little worried seeing Jordation hang on to the Transcendence there. When Unter goes down, you think, oh crap, this could be Blank now starting to run away with the fight, but Jordation's made the correct decision. Order wins the fight without the Transcendence being invested, and now Order has a way of actually surviving through this next fight. Once Damon builds up that EMP, it's really going to be onto Jordation here to manage to avoid the EMP, hide somewhere, get a good Transcendence out, and keep Order alive. But this is very cheeky. They're taking an aggressive fight. Damon's not in it, and it should be Order, but they're backing away. What a shatter!
Oh, wow. Huge earth shatter. Going to come out from Morton. They take the high ground. They take out the team, and the payload moves through checkpoint B. And now there's a ton of time left here on the clock. Can they do this faster than Order did?
Where's Quads? He was asleep. There he is. Goodness me, that's not a very good stagger at all for Order. I don't think it's going to matter too much. Obviously, it's going to give Blank a little bit of free space, but Order is still going to have time to set themselves up before this point is captured. Imperative, though, that Order win this next fight, and it's actually looking quite difficult for them when, again, we consider how impactful the EMPs have been out from Damon thus far, and what Order has to play around with. A self-destruct from Adam, I'm not so sure I'm seeing the ability for that to carry the fight. I think it's on Jordation here.
Looking for a great EMP coming through. Adam does pick up Kura. That should stall them at least for now, Jordan. They'll be forced to fall back. That's not a bad use of the ultimate, to be honest.
No, it's definitely not a fight winner, but it's a fight staller at best. Unter does go down, however, an EMP out to
hits
take
everyone,
advantage.
Including Jordation. They were not expecting this at all. With one play down, perhaps Order was left sleeping there, thinking they were going to be safe, but that is certainly not the case.
Is Order going to be able to get back in time for a good contest here? They've got ultimates to use. The Transcendence is there, definitely. Graviton Surge, and they're all stuck in it. I'm not sure anyone's going to get there for Order. You see that payload moving. Untough dives in, and Order starts to win the fight, but they need to get on the payload.
A shadow comes out from Quats to try and get them back into the game. Order do manage to get onto the payload and stall it for just a little bit longer. They should be able to win this fight. That was crucial.
And this is where it starts to get difficult now for Blank because they have such a long run back. Every single fight that they lose is going to be costing them a minute and a half, a long time in the grand scheme of things when even there is only the 3 minutes. Order's starting to look like they may well take a time bank advantage in here, if not hold strong. But the next fight coming out from Blank, it looks a little bit dry as far as the ultimates are concerned. Same can, of course, be said for Order. Rally's there for Order, and they're going to try and use that to force a fight while they have the advantage.
As the rally goes out, Blank drops back. Damon already at almost 90% EMP. He literally just used it I'm not sure if Order will be expecting this so soon, Jordan.
Well, they've got nothing to play around it as well. There's no EMP. There's no sound barrier. There's no transcendence. There's nothing to keep them alive when EMP comes out, unless they find the first pick of the fight.
They will indeed. It's going to be Morton. Damon doesn't go down, but Noz does, as does
Oh,
Roro.
no.
Another fight in Order's favour.
This is the darkest timeline now for Blank Order. They really were looking in dire straits. If Damon gets the EMP down before Order find a couple of picks, that's it. It's done. There was nothing to keep Order alive, but now they've built some time. They can get the self-destruct out. Adam's already found a pick with that. Could be used to buy some more time. Jordation now has Transcendence. Hunter's going to have Sound Barrier, and you can bet your bottom dollar that one of these two supports will avoid the EMP, and that might be enough to keep Order alive through the fight. Not to mention the fact that Order now already has the time bank advantage.
They do indeed. Every second is now costly here for Blank. The beat is dropped by Kura. Transcendence
EMP.
used immediately by
But Trans.
Jordation. EMP will find 3, but the self-destruct finds 2 here for Order as well. Another fight not going in favor of Blank by the looks of things.
And Jordation did invest the trans there. I didn't see it. I'm not sure. Maybe did he get cancelled? Have to go back and have a look, but Hunter still has got the sound barrier. Whatever the case, Order does win the fight.
I think it came out before the EMP came out.
Well, either way, in that case, then it's a good usage.
Yeah.
Order used it to win the fight. They've used it to build some more times. Graviton Surge.
The shatter comes through, only really hits Quats. The beat is dropped by Hunter as well. Tongue now with that Transcendence
Where's
coming
Noz?
through. Noz about to have his own grab as well, but they need to use it soon. With 157 in the time bank here for Order, this is another costly fight. They might not get this through at all, Jordan.
I mean, these picks are becoming a real problem for Blank. They can't ever set up properly for a fight. You can see time and time again, they've got the tools to work with. There we had the grab. EMP was just about to come up a couple of fights ago. We had an EMP available, and Blank surely looking to push through with the time bank advantage. But somehow, somewhere, Order is always finding opportunities to get those picks and denying Blank any solid fight. Here's another one. Quats round the corner. G'day, mate.
There's the EMP. Is it going to be too little too late from Damon? Noz has gone down. That's a big pick as well. Morton followed up there, and well, there you go, guys and girls. This could be it.
Definitely looking like it at the moment. Graviton Surge out from Sign. That should be the nail in the coffin, and no one can get on the point. It's going to be Order 2-0 up, and you can see they're feeling it.
Some crucial picks coming through there. The Zarya lurking with the Graviton Surge ready to go. That could have turned the tides, Jordan, but we saw the pick come through just in the nick of time. Overall, I think another good map win here for Order. They're now 2-0 up. AVRL, they're on match point.
Oh, let me take the floor here, gentlemen. There's a lot to say about what just transpired onto that one. What I can begin with is Order are so well prepared against a Sombra Ghost lineup coming out of Blank, against anybody. They're playing out of their minds, and specifically, it's really minute details. You're seeing time and time again. Adam chucks a self-destruct into the ether. You're thinking, why is he doing that? How are they opening fights that way? It's because they're setting the pace of the game. They're saying, we know the EMP is coming, that we know the EMP is available. If we really just initiate into them, if we really force these engagements where Damon's not allowed to flank around, Damon's not allowed to use an EMP while the self-destruct is flying, Damon and Blank therefore cannot take the flights they want to, and time again, Order are just taking advantage of that one key factor, and Blank are not getting anything back.
And we saw how important it was for them to be doing that to Blank, to really keep a lid on them, because there were still those times where Blank were able to get fights, and they had some incredibly commanding fights. They had some exceptional fight wins. Like, you don't get as far as they did with the payload without getting that, to the point where we thought they were going to have the superior time back. Now, of course, Order, as we just saw, dug deep, were able to hold out, but ultimately, I think you could sort of hit the nail on the head there. That's exactly what they're doing to keep a lid on Blank, and you're seeing the importance of that being a factor of Order's game plan.
It was a very good game plan, clearly, coming through the first point there, the first objective. Order coming through with a ton of time. Blank did well, to be fair, to hold them through the streets phase there. But when things were reversed, the closer the payload got for Order on defense, the easier it was for them. Obviously, it's easier to defend when your spawn is closer, And for me, it just wasn't there for Blank in that last part. When push came to shove, when it was tougher than it was before, they didn't have enough, Jordan.
Yeah, well, it's like what I said during the cast there. Obviously, it is going to get easier right towards point C. But in that case, I mean, again and again, Order able to, like AVRL said, engage the fights, start the fights off on their own terms, find those picks, and really ensure that there was not even a single fight that Blank were the ones that were the initiated, that were starting it on their own terms. They didn't start off with an EMP, and even when they did get the EMP out, Jordation was so solid in getting his own transcendence across, keeping everyone alive, and it was just all sort of like a well-oiled machine for Order, everything working perfectly.
AVRL, I think the only time that Jordation got caught out there by the EMP was when Blank were a player down and you just wouldn't anticipate that it was coming.
Well, one of the couple times is actually Morton lands an Earthshatter. He only gets one person, but he gets the most important one, that was Jordation. What I specifically want to touch up on here is you see how the shifting of the game plan kind of moves across, because when Blank actually land good EMPs, good Earthshatters, all of that, like Quats are sleeping on the side, like you sort of called in the end, and they just get these huge fight wins. But as soon as they just not allow Blank to do their game plan, look at Damon's POV. We saw so many times Damon's like, okay, I'm going for the EMP, and oops, a couple of members went down. Oops, Order already started the fight maybe 5 seconds too early, and we already lost a player, and I'm trying to catch up right now with my invisibility, trying to get an EMP. It's too late, can't use it now because we lost.
They've done a very good job of keeping Damon at bay, as they need to be right now. Semi-final.